John Lewis, one of our nation's greatest contemporary statesmen, asserted, "Never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." Lewis has always been a model of spiritual stature, a person of peace, yet willing to make good trouble to confront structural racism and demagogic politicians. At Pettus Bridge and in response to the demagogues and racists in high places, then and now. We need prophetic healing. We need prophetic healing as persons and as a nation. That quest for healing of the soul of America was the inspiration for my books, Prophetic Healing, Howard Thurman's Vision of Contemplative Activism, and the work of Christmas, The 12 Days of Christmas with Howard Thurman. John Lewis knew Thurman's work and was no doubt influenced to some extent by his mystical activism. Thurman believes that the mystic sees holiness in all people. God is present in friend and foe alike, and all God's children deserve respect, even the benighted political leader. Still, the mystic vision, whether that of Thurman or Isaiah or Amos or Jesus, is willing to make good trouble so that all God's children might experience abundant life. According to Howard Thurman, the mystic commits him or herself to the removal of all that prevents God from coming to himself in the life of an individual. Whatever there is that blocks this calls for action. The work of prophetic healers can seem harsh to those who benefit from racism and injustice, those who destroy the planet for a few shekels. They cry out evil and injustice for what it is: self-interested, soul-destroying, and divisive. There are times in which the mystic needs to shock those who perpetuate structural injustice for the sake of profit or to preserve law and order without justice. The mystic confronts politicians whose primary concern is maintaining power and who find their meaning in adoring followers. The mystic is guided by the quest for truth and recognizes that dishonesty in the body politic about the impact of a virus or an election destroys lives and faith in democracy. Guided by love, the prophetic spirit embodied by Lewis, King, Amos, Isaiah, Jesus, and Thurman performs spiritual surgery to heal oppressed and oppressor alike. The oppressed need healing, that's obvious, but often unknown to them, the oppressor's soul is at stake as well. The oppressor needs a heart transplant so they can feel the pain they inflict on the vulnerable, the destruction they wreak by racism or greed, or simply silent complicity. Without that spiritual surgery, their souls will shrink and wither. Their jumbotrons in church collapse, their sermons anesthetize. Yes, we need to make good trouble. And prophetic healing is good trouble. When it opens our society to the waters, the flowing waters of justice. When it makes it possible for children to dream, persons of color to walk safely down the street. When it provides education and food and good work for the vulnerable of all races. Healing, prophetic healing through spiritual surgery, is our nation's only hope. Repentance and a U-turn from privilege to partnership, a turn to sacrifice for the common good, a relentless quest for beloved community. a discomfort that transforms the social order so that God's realm will emerge in this United States and across the world on earth as it is in heaven.